Overall opinion of the series is that it did not glamorize suicide, because what I felt it did do is really unprecedented. It generated unprecedented dialogue across generations about really tough issues like suicide, drug use, and rape. I think that younger kids should be allowed to watch it if their parents are involved and think that they are mature enough to consume it. I am an advocate for media literacy, and I think that parents and people need to be involved with what media we are consuming. And it takes work. If the kids are not old enough to consume that kind of mature content, as a parent, you have the right and should be making the choice that they don't consume it. I think too often that people in society in general look to the media to be some kind of moral compass. Media is not put out to be moral compasses for society or for kids. Media and content is put out as a business to make money, and that is simply their overall goal. They're not put out to teach your kid right from wrong. It's not put out to teach them what they should or shouldn't be doing. It's a business. Media is put out to make money. And I think if people, took the time to look at that, they would realize that the media is not a moral compass for your kids, and you can and should make a choice as to what kids are consuming as parents. My daughter's school district just the other day made a town-wide phone call saying that this Netflix series was out and that parents should be aware. And that's really what I think is key, is that parents, schools, society, we need to be aware of what is out there and aware and involved in what kids are consuming. And 13 Reasons Why, the series, is no different. So we need to be involved in what they're doing on social media, what they're doing on Netflix, what they're consuming, what games they're playing. We need to be involved in what they're doing. So is it a good thing that the school districts put this out? Absolutely. So that we are aware. That's how we're going to generate awareness. That's how, Netflix is doing their responsibility in letting parents know, hey, we're putting up graphic content, which I think that they did. I don't know if they did on the whole series in and of itself, but I know that they did on specific episodes that were graphic. The rape scenes, the ones that were going to have the drug use, and certainly the last episode with the suicide scene. But I don't know if they had a blanket one for the whole series, but should they? Absolutely. That would help. After the series was over, I asked my daughter, she's 15, and I asked her in her own words kind of what was the big takeaway, what was the overall goal of what was 13 Reasons Why really about. And she paused and hesitated a minute and said, I think that the show was about that we really need to be kinder to each other and nicer to each other, because we really don't know what other people might be going through. And that to me was really powerful, because that's what I think that show, for me and my daughter, that's the kind of dialogue that it generated. And you know what? Good for her, good for us, good for, that. And then we started to talk about issues in her school and bullying and some things that may or may not be going on in her school. And that kind of dialogue wouldn't have been had, I don't think, in that moment, had we not, that's what the show sparked. It sparked conversations, it sparked dialogue. I would recommend 13 Reasons Why to someone who hasn't watched it, if they are mature enough for the content. I think that age, and again, I think that age plays an important part of what we're talking about, this kind of media consumption. And if we're talking about teenagers or preteens, then you need to have the parents involved. We can't just blanket recommend 13 Reasons Why with that kind of content across the board, because there is an age that certainly may not be appropriate for. So would I recommend it? Yes, with parental involvement, for sure. As parents, we have the right to not consume things. We have the right to say no. We don't have to consume this, but it takes work, and we need to get involved to be able to make those decisions, right? Yeah.